I mean, technology is not even 10 years old.
Yeah, right. It's brand new. We all just learned how to do this in the pandemic there a few years back.
Gee.
What is this? What happened?
Oh, there was a disease.
Oh, there's that. Oh, wow.
Right. Yeah, that thing. Um,
I wrote most of these raps in that thing.
You did, yeah.
I can tell for some of them. I mean, some of them are, about that thing. Kind of about that thing. There's definitely some references to that thing in there. I applaud it. But okay, so welcome aboard, everybody. My name is Dubious. This is Fly in Formation. It's an interview series where I set out just to talk to kind of the who's who of the Canadian hip hop scene from coast to coast. I do a weekly mix show as well called After the Smoke is Clear or ATSIC, if you like shortened acronyms. And on ATSIC, I put together an hour worth of indie hip hop, new release stuff from across the map every week, and do my best just to kind of pay attention and show people, highlight the best of the best as far as I'm concerned, anyways. And today, I'm joined by Kaboom Atomic and the Dirty Sample. These guys just put out an album I want to say a couple of weeks ago now, something like that. That is one of my favorites of the year so far. But I've also been playing the singles for I want to say like a year or more at this point. Uh, so welcome aboard, guys. How are you doing?
Wow.
Yo,
Yeah. Uh, so yeah, I guess can we just get sometimes when I have multiple guests, what I like to do is have each of you give the other one an introduction. Do you guys know each other well enough that you'd be able to do that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Uh,
yeah, the man that you see right there is the Dirty Sample, aka lots of names throughout the world. I think when we first started working together, it was just called Planet, which is pretty dope. Spelled Plan It. Uh, I mean, his beats have been magical for a while. He's on that like late hitting boom bap stuff. Canadian Dilla. I know he's gonna scoff at that because that's high praise, obviously, but that's the way I look at it. Easy for me to write raps. I mean, even throughout this project and projects in the past, he would send me a beat. I would write to it immediately, and he would even change it. And I'd be like, "Bruh, don't change it," and then it would be better somehow. Incredible rapper as well. Understands cadence. Great guy to get along with. Terrible taste in hockey teams, but great guy all around.
Yeah.
The Dirty Sample.
I
Thanks,
co-sign all
bro.
that. Yeah.
Thanks, bro. And then of course the I mean, how do you explain this gentleman? Kaboom Atomic, who's been around since I knew Canadian rap was a thing. From doing stuff from with Alo Guha, with everything with moves, imagination, tree trunk, ink op, like everything he ever did, I always loved, man. My homie Kaboom. He's not just one of the most talented multi-level syllable metaphor simile spitting MCs in the game. He's also an extremely talented writer. He's an extremely talented actor. He has an eye for art that a lot of people do not have. He starred in some of your favorite worst films of all time. And he just did a movie with a dope ass, one of my favorite fucking guys, Flula Bar. So we're really excited for Kaboom, man. He's not just one talented MC, he is all around a absolutely talented human being.
Those are dope intros, guys. Yeah. Can we? I mean, actually, you guys, you both did better at that than I would have. So I'm glad that I had you do it that way.
Yeah, we
Um,
also wrote each other's dating profiles.
it's,
That's right. Yeah.
yeah,
And we
great.
are both still single.
Yes, it's crazy. I don't know why. I mean, yeah, just
I mean,
glowing.
yeah,
Yeah.
Maybe
you
it's
guys
because
doesn't
people
make
thought
good
we wrote it
wingmen.
ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, So tell me about the new album, 2 Cents. Did you guys name it that after like a check you got from Spotify, or what? Where'd you get the name from?
Yeah, so it is a double entendre, of course, meaning like that's how much we get for plays. I think that's under, to be honest. I think it's less than that somehow.
Zero
Um,
zero six of a cent actually on Spotify is
yeah,
what
yeah, yeah.
Canadian artists get. Yeah,
Right. So all of the songs playing is 2 cents probably. Terrible at math, so I'm not even gonna bother. And then also, giving your 2 cents about the state of the world, state of hip hop, and the way I look at it is like, I'm 43 years old. I'm rapping. I don't know why. I'm still smoking weed. And it's like, what is the stance that anybody, what right does someone that old even have on a microphone with hungry young energy? And it is just like barking at the moon and fucking, saying a bunch of hot takes, and like jaded angles on life and the state of our music and the state of just everything.
Yeah.
And that's what it sounded like to me when we were putting it together, and I was like, Josh, what if we just made it like two grumpy old fucks making an album?
yeah.
And then we played around with some ideas that it was going to be like, it was going to be those old Muppets in the theater, those guys that
Right,
heckle
sitting in the balcony. Yeah,
Yeah, that's us, man. That's us.
Hitler and Waldorf.
Yeah.
Um, but and then what ended up happening is, I don't know, 2 cents just kind of came to us, and we talked about it for a while, and both of us are, I don't know. I mean, not to toot our own horns, but both of us are like really stupid clever like that. Like we just wanted everything has to be double entendres. Everything's got to be like,
Man.
it's got to be worth it. It's got to be poetic, and so
It's too easy to not do it that way.
yeah, and
right.
there's something poetic too, just about like, let's say you're a rapper, from fucking New Brunswick, and you have an album called Training Foxes. Like I'm listening to that fucking shit all day long.
Wait, is there a rapper from New Brunswick with an album called Training Foxes, or did you just
No,
make that up? Okay,
absolutely not. But yo, get on it.
somebody should get on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
NB, represent
Let's go.
NB.
Let's go.
They got French submarines in the waters there protecting us.
I saw that. Yeah, thank God for the French popping up out of the oceans to wave hello to those Americans down there. Um, so I guess this isn't your first album together. You guys also did one called Nuclear in like 2 words, Nuclear in I think 2018, something like that, right?
Yeah.
Uh
Was
can you
it that?
compare this one to that one?
Wasn't nuclear like way before that?
I mean, that's when we put it out, though, right? We put it out in 2018. It was done for a bit. It was
Okay.
finished.
Sorry. It's the weirdest thing, man. When every time that Boomer and I have put these um albums together, some weirds happen with like my data or something. Like the first batch, I think we lost a bunch of beats too, man. And then this second album, I actually lost a bunch of beats as well too, that we ended up either re-recording or kind of working with what we had left of the beat to make the track out of, especially with the instrumental side of the album coming.
Yeah,
That's
it got
funny
to
you
a
say that actually, man.
point.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off,
No, go
Kaboom,
ahead, go
but
ahead, go ahead.
as I was listening to it today, I listened through the entire full album that Thomas from Han Solo sent over to me. And I kind of thought like the singles, are they different than they were when they were singles? Like are the album versions different than the
Yeah.
single versions? Okay,
Yeah, I
yeah.
believe they are only in a little bit.
You
Not
have at least one listener who noticed that.
That's cool. That's
That's-
good.
yeah,
That's
man.
good. But
So did you
yeah,
lose
a little bit.
beats for this project too, or what happened to
Yeah, I
cause that?
lost. I think what happened is, so I had this computer, man, that I think we started recording even when I lived in Vancouver with and worked with Sean with Boomer, man. We recorded onto that computer as well. And right at the end, like when I moved into my new spot, one of my old computers. That computer died, like 22-year-old computer, man, that I was making music on died. And a lot of data went down with it. I'd saved a lot of it on a hard drive, but some didn't make it. So we kind of had to work with what we got, you know.
Yeah, 22 is a lot of years, man. That's how old like Kylie Jenner was when she already had dated like 6 basketball players.
Right? Seriously, man. That's an
Yeah.
old ass computer.
Yeah, it's probably time to replace them if they're getting up there that old.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
I encourage people to have backups of their backups. Like,
Yeah.
don't trust the cloud. Just have multiple physical copies of whatever you're fucking working on and back
I
them
don't
up
know.
every
We
few
just kind of
events.
trust in the universe. I mean, it kind of happened anyways, right?
Yeah. That's how it always works out, you know, like like especially with what Sean and I do together, man, like the universe kind of takes the wheel and we just start throwing stuff out there and it works.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, we're both very busy, and if it wasn't for me going over to Calgary, just that one stint, well, I
Yeah.
stayed over for like 3 days, and we just like recorded a bunch of extra stuff, and
Yeah.
it didn't even to come together.
It's
nice. So you
huge.
actually got in the same room to do some of these takes then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Sean packed up and came to Calgary for I think 3 to 5 days, something like that.
Nice.
Yeah,
Took time out of his own insane life, which was great. And yeah, got so much done here. So much done. There's even a couple tracks that haven't been put on anything yet, but will soon be there.
I got to
Oh,
play
okay.
some bass too, which is great. Playing some bass on some beats.
Yeah,
Oh, nice. Okay.
yeah.
Um, how often do you play bass? Do you play in a band or have you played in a band or anything like that?
Fucking never. That was like maybe this ninth time I've even held one.
Oh, damn. Okay.
But
Um,
I love instruments. I play the guitar. I mean, I grew up kind of playing instruments and stuff like that, but like I don't practice or anything. I'm more just like trying to write songs no matter what. So if the opportunity presents itself, and there was, and I was just like noodling around. I always,
Yeah,
it's funny because I always start playing in those like minor scales, Phrygian sort of scales and stuff like that, and Persian sounding shit, and
which is
that
what I love too, right? Like, yeah,
yeah.
D minor, G minor. That's my.
have you had much chance to work sampling people playing actual instruments like that? 30?
Uh, yeah, man. Like I mean, any of the stuff that we put together from live instruments through this was kind of reworked by me in the end too.
Okay.
Um, so like, there's a track where Wadowski's playing drums. One of the tracks. There's a couple tracks where Kaboom's playing bass. One was released, one is still waiting to go that has a feature from Chalkaboy and Yolanda Sargent, which is dope.
Nice.
Damn, I want to hear that so bad.
Yeah, no, we gotta get that out. We gotta get that one out.
So probably a few more singles then on the way, or are you guys looking at putting it on some other album or something like that?
Yeah,
Album
that's
number
what we'll
3.
probably do. Sean sent me a text randomly the other day too that just said beats question mark. So I gotta put a
Always hungry.
batch together for him here soon. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice, man. Um, did you end up redoing the vocals then too, Sean? Because I felt like, I don't know, some of the delivery was almost clearer, or I couldn't tell if you had changed bars actually between the singles and the album versions or whatever. Did you rewrite any of it or re-record any of the vocals or
Definitely not Ashes. Ashes stayed the same. Um, Mastering kind of does some wonders, I believe. That first version I think was just a quick master. We just put a limiter on it. We
right?
didn't know what we wanted to do with the album at that point. I just wanted something else to generate hype.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and I mean, turns out it was too early because we ended up just going with Thomas, and he wanted like three or four singles. Anyways, we'd already put out two, so it might have been better if we held off. Either way, yeah, I mean, I think I re-recorded those lyrics like 3 or 4 times, just because sometimes performance is weird, like even listening to your music, like you have like a nice free way of kind of merging like that freestyle, make it sound like it's freestyle when it's written kind of stuff. And I always find it hard. I end up my lyrics are like so fucking cerebral and like, get over yourself, you know what I mean? And it needs to sound natural. And sometimes I just listen, I'm just like, what the fuck is this guy even talking about? And so I mean, it's funny because Sample's just like Dirty. He doesn't. He's like, why are you re-recording it? and
Normally, yeah.
it'll just be
Normally, yeah.
something with me. It'll just be something with me where I'm just like, oh, it just doesn't sound like I'm being genuine, or it doesn't sound like like I'm angry, or doesn't sound like that I'm confident.
Right. Do you think some of that's from being like an actor too, and going back wanting to have it sound more genuine or whatever, like picking it apart that way, thinking like, oh, I could have played that role a little bit better.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there is obviously an element of that, and I think with maturity, you do start to admit that, like, like this is entertainment, and like, I have fucking gun bars in there. I've never touched a gun in my fucking life. And it's just, yeah, I mean, I'm definitely playing a character for this, and that's one thing that's unique about rap, and what's great is that it's all real, and there's a lot of emphasis on that, but everything is nuanced, and there's different subgenres in art, and I think that because of how funny the delivery is, and because of how silly some of the choruses are, this is almost parody. It's parody and rhetoric, and that's all we've ever done.
So you said that you kind of started working on a few songs that ended up being on this project before you knew that it was going to be a project. How long has the process been leading up to 2 Cents?
Damn.
6 years.
Yeah.
Since the last one, then. Okay, yeah,
I just, I mean, that's the thing is like, I think I approached Dirty and I was just like, yo, like, send me some beats, it's a pandemic. I just want to kind of get started on some shit, whatever. And he's just like, I don't really just do songs like that. Like if I'm gonna send you beats, like it's got to be a project. And I was like, yeah, makes sense to me. And then obviously, I mean, it was time. We definitely needed to do another one. And yeah, every time that we did one of the songs or I heard one of the beats, it would just kind of stoke the fire a little bit more and a little bit more.
right.
Um, and yeah, I don't know. I mean, it, it, those songs, like, the early stuff, I revamped some of those lyrics, some of those things that didn't hit right, maybe the first time. And, you know, we came up with our final product probably in the last 2 years.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the entire album, and I think like I don't know whether, like you said, it could have been the mix and master, but there was something where I was hearing some of the lyrics from some of those earlier singles on the album this time, and could hear I don't know more clarity or hear it a little bit and follow the lyrics a little bit better to the point where I was like, was that bar in there? Did I fucking miss that bar from when I played it on the show a year and a half ago? Or like but, yeah, man, it was a great album, and I really appreciated just, that you weren't shying away from some of those hot takes and hot topics that and I feel like too many MCs just stay away from because they don't wanna offend anybody, which to me is, like, the least kinda hip hop thing you can do to, like, try not to step on toes, like, I almost feel like you're supposed to step on some toes or whatever, so, um props to you for not being afraid to do that or whatever. I wanted to ask, like, Dirty, do you care about what an MC's saying on beats that you're producing and like, on a project like this that also has your name on it?
Yeah, as
Um,
long as it's not vengeful, hateful,
yeah,
uh, that type of
Yeah.
stuff. I don't like I'm a firm believer that anyone is in like freedom of speech. This album is a proof of freedom of speech,
yeah,
and I'm a true believer in freedom of speech. So I believe people can say what they want to say, and believe what they want to believe as long as it's not harming other people. But to me, man, like when it comes to political stuff like that, I'm always like, oh, like I just I believe love wins, man. You know what I mean? And if there wasn't people like, Sean out there saying stuff, or this guy out there saying stuff, doing things for the right reason, we'd be a rap world full of, donkeys like Tom McDonald. You know what I mean? And we don't need a rap world full of people like that who take advantage of a situation and use it as a cliche way, a gimmicky way to promote themselves to get paid and act like they're some sort of social justice person.
100%, man.
And
I actually, that kind of leads into the question that I had as a follow-up for Sean. And it's strange. Tom McDonald is not a guy whose music I ever listen to or endorse it at all, but he's probably mentioned on this fucking interview series more often than any other rapper because people love to throw him firmly under the bus as they should,
he's
right?
just cheese,
Yeah,
man.
man, it's absolutely cheesy as hell. I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I don't know. You're kind of just giving him what he wants, so talking about him.
It's
Right.
true.
He means nothing to me, and just like you said, like you're not listening to him. He means
Yeah,
absolutely
yeah,
nothing in the grand scheme of things.
I wasn't going to ask you directly about him, but what I wanted to ask though, because I agree, I don't want to talk about the guy any more than we already have, but um, his name does get brought up a lot. It strikes me as strange a little bit, but I did want to ask you though, is it just an Alberta thing that it seems like kind of the indie hip hop scene draws a lot of mega and maple mega types, or is that out in Vancouver too? You're in Vancouver,
Well,
right?
yeah. So I mean, okay, there's something about rap. Rap is a one-sided argument. You can't be put in your place if you're the only person on your track. And
Yeah,
the thing is like you are you are more than welcome to your opinion in those 3 minutes, but you know I'm not going to listen if it doesn't strike the right chords for me. And just, in the same way that Planet is saying, like, I'm all about love, and I can smell a Russian bot from miles away. And it's funny because left wing, right wing, centrist, whatever, that means so much less than what the ideologies of Russian influence on North American politics has on people, because it stems from placating women haters. And once you find somebody who just inherently hates women, you can prey on them with rhetoric that leads them down a path of plausible deniability.
yeah.
And I think, I'm in the protection agency, I'm in the business of entertainment though. You know, I I'm all I'm trying to do is just trying to create solidarity within the fact that, like, that we can take care of each other, that we have the ability to take care of each other. So my music is for everybody, whether you're into right wing politics or left wing politics. I'm just trying to state what I have seen as facts. I mean, to be honest, Ashes, that song Ashes, is like what, 5, 6 years old? Is it 5 years old?
longer, I think, bro.
Man, if it wasn't for Trump getting reelected, that song would have sounded so dated.
Right.
Like that song is in his first was from his first term, man.
Yeah, I mean, I was angry. It was in the smack in the middle of the pandemic. Well,
It
maybe
ain't me.
different
You've
way.
got some stuff to say about that pandemic, the anti-vaxxer movement and whatnot too, right? There's bars across the album really
I
about
mean,
it,
it's
but
just so obvious to me. I mean, the anti-mask campaign was just because they were doing facial recognition at the same time. It was so obvious to me why they were trying to get people not to wear masks, is
right,
because of facial recognition. And
yeah,
then they were like, "Oh yeah, don't wear masks. You're like a sheep. You're a puppet." And it's like, facial recognition.
yeah,
So
100%,
obvious.
man. So did Trump getting reelected kind of spur this album to happen then, or
No,
were you guys working on it prior
no,
to
no,
it?
no.
Like, okay,
But no, we're driven by love, man. We're not driven by anything that's happening in American or Canadian politics. I mean,
fair, yeah. Well, and it
I mean,
sounds like you're still working on music or whatever, but I think
oh, for
somebody
sure.
has to talk about it. So, it's good even just to bring that conversation to the forefront in any way that you can. And I don't think you came off as hateful on it. Most of it is kind of like something you kind of like nudge your buddy and fucking just rib him a little bit and make fun of him for being stupid time to time, like
Yeah, yeah.
um
Yeah. I mean, the whole
yeah.
persona kind of came from that. Oh, so happy you took off that hat. Oh,
You want me to put on my other one?
is it another Flames hat?
Yeah.
You're a big
um,
Canucks fan, I take it. Boom.
no, I just like ribbing the Flames. I actually love the Flames more than like many different teams. Let's say Edmonton, I don't like them. I like the Flames more than Edmonton. I like the Flames more than Boston.
Yeah.
Give me that all day. The Leafs. Everybody hates the
Right,
I
Leafs.
got
Marchand in Florida. What?
over my shoulder here. I got this one's a Flames little fucking elf guy, and that one's an Edmonton little elf guy.
Oh, look
Nice.
at that. They're hanging
My
out.
mom gave me. Yeah, right. Because
Hanging
I
out.
don't think it's all that serious. I've lived in Edmonton for a lot of years, so I cheer Edmonton if they're making a cup run. But whatever. I'll cheer for anybody making that cup run if they're Canadian, really.
That's
Nah,
right.
we love hockey. That's
Yeah,
the
hell
thing.
yeah.
It's like, just going back on, circling back on what you were talking about. Just, you know, i- in our like, it's just music that we're making. But then when I started listening to a couple of those songs, I guess, we were in the middle of a pandemic. It was super political, and I was even going through a divorce. I think, I think Planet might have been doing the same. But I was just
Last time
like,
I talked to him, he was, yeah.
yeah, so there was a lot of emotion going on. I didn't know where to put it. And then I started listening to the songs and I was like, man, this guy is whining a lot. And this guy, meaning me, and it just sounds like an old man barking at the moon. And that's how it's meant to be taken.
Yeah.
Like you listen to this album, it's supposed to be like, wow, this guy's got a lot to this old man is like just spouting, he's at the bus stop and he's just jabbering about problems that he's never gonna fix.
Yeah.
World
I
needs it,
like
man. Yeah.
that's the vibe of it though, right? Is that, at a certain age when these young cats don't understand that you just your priorities change and your mental attitude changes and how you look at the world changes and you start being like, well, I've got some answers. Let me tell you how to make this better. I know.
Yeah.
And
And
we don't. And
and
we fucking don't.
sometimes you're right, sometimes you're hella wrong, man. But that's life, man.
Yeah.
That's life.
I'm okay being wrong, man. I think that's what separates
Shoot.
me from people like from people that are assholes. Um
I
but
was
like
just gonna say, man, people got to have opinions and stand on something rather than. I feel like too many people just, especially musicians. How are you gonna make music and have like no opinions on anything? It
I
just
could
Yeah.
be proven wrong though. Like, just tell me I'm wrong, show me the proof, and I'll just be
that's
like, "Cool."
exactly it. Opinions
That's
can
the
change
difference.
over the years, right? That's maturity too, right? So,
Yeah.
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 Um, I so I wanted to talk to you guys mostly about 2 cents, but 30, I got to ask you because homie from Mo Gravy was hitting me up at about the same time we booked this interview, telling me that I also should be interviewing you about the Cold Camp album
Oh
from
yeah, Cold Camp. Yeah, man.
from late last
I,
year. It was We Hate Summer, right? That's the title of it.
yeah. Did you get a chance to check it out?
I did, yes, and I came away from it wondering how many of those guys rapping on that were you. Um,
None.
None of those guys were
None of
you?
those guys.
Okay. I
Yeah.
thought that one of them was you doing like a ghost face voice, like putting the higher octave. I was like, okay,
No.
so he's old Gorilla Bones when he raps down here. And then he's,
No.
you
No.
know,
No.
whatever that guy's name was on that album. So, okay, tell me about that album then. Who
It's
was it?
just these group of cats from Calgary, man. And then Chaka Boy from Low Pressure too, who Sean knows. Like we're all homies. He
He
moved
was
out
one
to
of the two
Calgary.
features on
Yeah, yeah. So
Two
he moved
Cents.
out
Yeah.
to Calgary, and I just started kind of making beats for these guys, and the album just kind of came together, and they're just like their own thing, man. Like no one sounds like them. And that's why I liked it is because it was kind of like this ice cold, like I get to make like that dark, slow Wu Tangy sound and stuff, like greasy,
Yeah.
tangy sounding stuff. But yeah, so it's just a collabo group, man, of a whole bunch of cats. Like we'll get Sean on the next one here probably coming up, and some other rappers to get down on some of these tracks because um it's about a group of eight. I think there's eight of them altogether, eight or nine of them, and then some dudes rap more than the others. Some kind of spit once in a while. Like the Bully Bravo guy is constantly putting out like recording stuff. Chalk is always recording stuff. So yeah, it's just like a big group thing. But now they're kind of like one guy's gonna do like kind of like a solo album, and then Brady and Bully are gonna do like an album um,
Nice.
together. So yeah, man, it's stoked for it. It'll be good, man. It's a way to bring it all like some of the hand solo cats, and some of the cats that I grew up making music with, like Kaboom, like the West Coast cats, and kind of get it all together. But it's just like a real heavy representative of Canada, man. It's about being ice cold. We're from the north. We always keep it ice cold, man. That's why we hate summer.
It was definitely like Winter Wars vibes, like wintertime cold, yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
chilling music to it or whatever. Not
Good
necessarily
man.
horrorcore, but a lot of grimy street stuff on there or whatever. I
Yes.
liked
Yeah.
it too though.
Good man. It's fun
Yeah,
to work on that because you know me, like I'm normally making these like I don't know, I guess what some people would call like backpacky stuff. But I just I make hip hop. Like I don't as long as the rapper's dope, I'm happy to make a beat.
actually, man, that trips me out. I've never really thought about that. I don't even know what like a backpack beat sounds like necessarily.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know
I'm guessing
what
like
backpack rappers rap about, but
what
yeah,
whatever boom bap is. Yeah, I don't know.
yeah,
I
I
just
don't
like
know. I
rap.
think you're making something different, and I think that you allow for rappers to just kind of express themselves, and it's pretty open.
That's
yeah,
dope.
yeah, definitely. I
Um,
mean, 2 Cents is definitely a bouncier, more I don't know, warm sounding album than that one was or whatever. But
Yeah. Well, that's because like Boom knows how to hit that stuff. Like
yeah,
Like for instance, Are You High? Like no one else could have rapped on that beat. Even the way I made that beat, I was like, it's gonna be hard for people to hit this properly and make a good song out of it. But then
right,
he just comes in and marks it.
yeah,
yeah, man.
I took all my notes from that's Pusha T, man.
That's Pusha
Influenced
T
by
style.
Pusha T, 100%.
I saw
Just
you
like
say he
how
was the most entertaining pound for pound or something along those lines rapper. I saw that you comment that. I'm perpetually online. I see everything everybody says everywhere.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, not pound for pound. I think he's just got a smooth style, and he's always talking about blow, which is funny, but and deal. He's the perfect combination. He's smart. He's got lots of really sick flows.
Yeah,
He sounds like he's happy and depressed at the same time.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
and he has this, and I mean, he's got bars, but he's also smooth, like really smooth. And
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, he has a perfect combination of the streets and intelligence. And I mean, I
Agreed,
don't,
man.
you know.
Yeah, he's one of my favorites too, honestly.
I
Uh,
think
yeah, yeah. He's
I
been
mean, he
really
doesn't
good
even
for
make
a
my
long
top
time.
five, but he's one of my favorites.
Yeah,
you
honestly,
get it.
I don't rank him as a top five. I probably have, a swirling mass of 50 different MCs who I call my favorites at any given
Right.
time or whatever.
Yeah,
But
me too. Me too.
he-
Me too.
yeah, he's one of them for sure.
But I mean,
When I'm
there's
listening to him, he's one
innovation.
of my favorites.
I think there's innovation, but I think it takes a lot to show where your influences come from. I mean, I think I definitely channeled a little Tachichi on
Oh yeah.
I don't expect you to get it chorus for sure.
Yeah.
And like just coming up with like moves in those guys.
Yeah.
Uh
Did you know Moves when he was in Vancouver, or did you used to live on the East Coast?
no, 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 no. Yeah, so he came out here and he lived with Marcus Stanzo from Len.
Right.
He lived in the basement there with Mark Drunk This Monster. Um and 6'2" I think was around at that time too.
I've heard
And he
stories that he had a platinum plaque on the wall or some plaque on the
yeah,
wall
yeah,
from
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
lens
Well,
song
no,
or
I mean,
whatever,
he had
just
the platinum
living in
plaque.
some slum someplace.
I mean, he
Yeah.
probably still has the platinum plaque. I mean, unless he smashed it over some fucking
Yeah,
post.
dubious Moosey lived in this he lived in the apartment above, I think it was like Manic's mom's or something. And him and C lived up there. If you could call it living. Those guys, man, that place.
That was rough.
We went on tour. We came to Vancouver on tour in like I don't know 2001, 2002 or something. I think I fell asleep on a bare mattress that was half jacked up with VHS underneath it and then some CDs on the side. It was great, man. It was right off Hastings, but further down, right by On Lock. Remember that spot, On Lock?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
think he lived above. Was it Mannix? I thought it was Emotions.
Maybe his emotions. Yeah, yeah. Emotions.
Emotions, yeah.
Yes,
But before that, he lived in when I met him. He lived in North Van. He lived in like a mansion. But he lived in the basement, and somehow it was, it was he just made it his own.
of
Um,
course.
and he was doing the Mocha album at that point, and it's funny because I'm so anti-Christian now, but this woman that I met at my mom's church, her brother made beats, and she heard that I rapped, and I got and I did a song with him, made a song with him and my high school buddies called Van City Rains, which is incorporated. And then his friend was Bird of Prey, and he was also friends with Prevail from. He lived with Prev actually from
Right.
Swollen Members. And then Bird brought us onto a radio show. Uh, what was that guy's name? I forget his name. But he brought us onto a radio show, and then he brought us in to Moose's place to record our first song, which is Opposite Angles on Bird of Prey and Moose.
Damn.
Such a
First
good joke.
first song you've ever recorded? That was the
Yeah,
one? Okay. Nice,
18 years
man.
old.
Damn.
Crazy, crazy rhymes. I was unhinged. I mean, I don't know if I was on beat, but man, it was crazy rhymes.
How would you say your style's evolved over the years since then?
Well, I mean, less poetic, I think. No, I'm still as poetic. I think I'm just better at what I was intending to do back then.
Yeah, I get
Fair
that.
enough, man. Yeah. Takes a lot of practice, right?
It
Um,
does.
yeah,
It
man.
does. I mean, I think I don't know. I mean, I've done over 700 songs, I think, now in lots
Damn.
of different genres. I've been involved with. But I mean, growing up in that moves environment, it was, there was so many different types of rappers and like from all of them, just pulling from all of them, the Governor Bolts and Kunga 219
DJ
and
Moves one of the greatest, man. DJ Moves one of the
oh,
greatest.
the beats were
Canadians
incredible.
are always to this day so much respect and love for DJ Moves. If
Hell yeah.
Canadian artists don't know who he is, look him up. He is the reason why a lot of good underground hip hop got to the level it did in Canada. He has produced for some of the greatest Canadian MCs, let alone American, let alone produced one of the biggest hit songs of the mid 2000s. DJ Moves is absolutely a goat of Canadian hip hop.
Oh, 100%,
Yeah.
100%. I'd be nowhere without him. I mean, that's the thing is, not only did he put me on, he kind of encouraged me and like taught me a lot about like hip hop that I hadn't heard yet. And that's what a lot of these cats like nowadays, that's what they're lacking. Like they think, that Lil Baby is a marker of genius. And like they don't know. I mean, I can't really attest. I don't listen to that stuff, but like I don't know what NBA young boy even does. Like I don't know if he's good or not.
He gets
But
arrested from time to time. That's what I know about that guy.
oh, sick! He must be good at
About
rhyme.
him. Yeah.
Must be sick at
Rap life.
punchline.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's the thing is like he was somebody who was like this is nice and smooth, and I didn't know who that was. And like he introduced me to all these things that I could have been like or that I that influenced me as well. He's like this is what you're missing. It's like this is here for you. So I mean I'd be absolutely fucking nowhere without that guy.
Yeah, man. Props to DJ Moves. He's also, a very reasonable and easy to work with producer if people are looking to buy beats. Dude's always trying to sell beats.
He's a
I
Canadian man. He's a true salt of the earth East Coast Canadian man, and that's why
Yeah,
he's just a good human.
yeah. I talked to him for Flying Formation a couple years ago too, and real easy to talk to. Like I said, real easy to work with. He sold me 10 beats. I dropped an album 10 days later with him. Like
Yes.
it's you
Love
know
that.
it's it's been cool getting to know
Now, have
Moves
you
a little bit better.
interviewed C?
I haven't talked to C. No,
Well, that's who we got to get you an interview with. Is an hour and a
the
half.
other drunken
with C.
arsehole. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
right.
That guy's not going to go on camera, man. I think
You're right. You're right.
called me
Oh, you
once, and I
dark
was like,
suckers.
"Yo, can you email me?" That last I heard of him, I think that was like 3 years ago. I have no idea. But yeah,
I see
I
him
heard
on tracks
I
every
heard
now
some
and
of that
again.
record that you did with Moose. What did
Oh,
you say?
nice.
You said I don't know what to believe. I doubt everything I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
I heard
I don't know. It's been a while since I thought about that album, but I do say that on there definitely, man.
it.
And
Yeah.
like I said, I wrote those. So I wrote and recorded a track a day, and then just dropped the shit afterwards. Like, it was just kind of a pen test, really. I was just like, well, I got these 10 beats, I might as well knock something out with them. But yeah,
Alternatively,
fun.
you could see a therapist.
True enough. True enough. Yeah, that could happen too.
It's
I,
cheaper this way, though.
I mean, I do
It's
both,
cheaper
honestly, man.
this way.
I'm
It's
not against
cheaper.
therapy, but eventually the benefits run out, and then you got to pick up the pen. So,
Yep,
Yeah.
100%.
yeah, man. Uh, so I did want to ask you about like your acting career, Sean. What type of stuff have you been acting in lately? And do you do stand-up comedy? Am I wrong thinking you do stand-up comedy sometimes?
I have done stand up for sure. Um, it's very hard, and there's no money in it until you're only doing that. You have to do it every day, and I don't have the time. But
Right.
luckily, I get to use that skill in my like side projects, like I host events and stuff like that. And I like to call myself a stand up when I'm doing stand up, but it's not all the time. And I do, I definitely have put routines together, and I've gone up and I've told some jokes, and I like it. I get laughs, whether they feel sorry for me or not. But as far as acting goes, I mean, that's the thing. Is stand up is a lot like rap, where you can just kind of be yourself.
Yeah.
As far as acting goes, I'm a little bit picky. I think as I get older, I just don't want to like buy into any stereotypes. It's hard when you're like brown and Canadian, you're growing up and you're like looking for a hero. And like, not everything is about race, but when you're young and you just try to find your place in this world, there's no one else to compare yourself to. Like I was like, I remember watching Short Circuit and being like, "Oh yeah, that guy," and he was like, "Johnny Five is alive," and that guy was white, and so it's
Was that guy white?
yeah, fucking white. So
Jesus, Hollywood.
I'm just saying, like I had no heroes, and then it's like Peter Sellers is like, like what does the game with the
Yeah, the
monkey
party.
about?
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking great movie. And here's the thing: it's like I just, as far as being a bumbling idiot from a shithole country goes, that starts to become a little bit of a gray area. So when I quit acting after auditioning for Deadpool, to be the cab driver, and because it was Deadpool, and I knew Deadpool from the comics. It's like everything is anti-stereotype. And
Right.
then they had a fucking Indian cab driver with an arranged marriage who was a bumbling idiot from a shithole country. And I was like, yo, I was like, what's the fucking point? So got brought in for the audition. I didn't do an accent. They were like, yo, they need an accent for this. So I did a Russian accent. They were like, "Thanks, Sean." And then I called my agent and I was like, "I quit." And they were like, "Why?" I was like, "Terrorist number one, terrorist number two. This is not a career for me."
Right. Yeah.
Um, and so that was done. And then about 3 years later, I ran into a friend of mine who got into casting, and they were just like, "Yo, they're waiting for you. Now is the time." Fucking DEI and shit. There's lots of jobs out there. And then I talked to one of the best agents in the city, Vicky, who's my agent now, and I was like, yo, if I'm coming back to the game, like I'm playing Mike, I'm playing Jason, I'm playing fucking Jared. I don't want any like, Abduls. And she's like, all right, well, let's give her it. And I kind of haven't looked back, man. I just get lucky. I get lucky like once, twice a year. That's all that it really is supposed to be. I'm just like 2 jobs a year, I'm good. And I got a Netflix movie coming out with Flula Borg and with Minka Kelly that we shot in France, which is where I did the Are You High video. And that's coming out in December. But like I love playing around, man. I love finally like coming into my own as like a performer and just being able to like, you know, um, work with the director and sell him on jokes. Like I go to set early and I'd be like, "Yo, what do you think of this? What do you think of this? What do you think of this?" And he's like, "Yo, I like that one. That one's stupid, and like we can try that one, but I'm not gonna like it." And I was like, "Great." In fact, it's funny because Mark, who is the director of that movie, also or wrote, and I think yeah, he just wrote. He wrote the movie Grumpy Old Men, which is where we got all of our vocal samples for 2 cents.
It's a classic, man. Yeah, the Grumpy Old
Yeah,
Man. I noticed the samples and knew where they were from or whatever. That's dope that you got to work with them too.
yeah.
What's the name of that movie then? That's coming out in December.
It's called Champagne Problems.
Champagne Problems.
I've
Nice,
done a
man. I'll
couple
watch for
others
it.
with him. Same character. His name is Roberto. And he's a different character, but he's the same. Like in the first
Okay.
one, he's a law assistant. In a movie called Love Guaranteed with Damon Wayans Jr. and um, Rachel Lee Cook. And then the next one was with Cat Graham and Tom Hopper. That's called Love in the Villa. And he wrote and directed that one. And then this last one is called Champagne Problems, coming to Netflix December.
Nice. So, were you interested in being an actor before you were interested in being an MC, or which came first?
I just had lots of energy, man. When I was
Both.
younger, I'd just tell my parents I was bored. They'd give me a piece of paper and a pen, and I would do it. And I would stay up. I'd watch In Living Color. I'd be crazy. I'd come up with characters all the time, and they're like, "We got to do something about this kid." And they just kind of put me in programs, and I just wanted to make people laugh. They tried to put me in sports, and I was good too. I was good. I was like playing baseball. Like I was like pretty sick. But then I would just like want to make people laugh, and they were like, "We
Right.
got to take them out of this because this is serious shit." And I was like, "It's a game. Shut up." But
God bless the parents who support the kids in their actual passions rather than just being like, "You get out there and hit that fucking ball" or whatever. Right? I think there's a
yeah,
lot of
yeah,
parents who
totally.
don't hear it when kids want to make art. Um,
Yeah, they kind of put the power in someone else's hands, which is great. It was and I think that's it was easier back then. Now these programs they're costing thousands and thousands of dollars. So I mean,
yeah,
easier back then. There was programs that were a little bit cheaper, and I don't know. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, you know I I had a lot of energy and I squandered a lot of energy, and I still have that energy. I mean, I don't stop, man.
yeah. Weird. You guys are both veteran MCs who've been writing for a long time. Something I want to start asking more people, and I'm going to start with you guys tonight, is when's the last time you wrote a bad verse? I think there's all sorts of ways to answer that.
Every time I write, man. And then as I refine it and work things down and work it over the beat and check my breathing and check the way I'm gonna lay it out, then it works out. But every time I write a verse, man, it starts off as a mishmash of garbage. And for the longest time, I never ended a verse properly. I never ended it right. And so now I just make sure I'm taking enough time to make sure things sound up to a high standard level. It's keeping yourself in check with your own standards. So, but I do think that I'm definitely not known as an MC. I'm definitely known as a producer over at MC.
Just because you change your name every album, bro.
Yeah, but that's all right. That's okay. That's part of the game.
You got
But
bars
for
too,
me,
though. I don't know.
for me, um, you know, I if if the if the vibe is right, you can get something started. But I always have to come back and rewrite and cut out. And always, man, always. Even more now than ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, I write lines that I think are stupid, but I usually fix them. Like I usually like, well, I'll write something stupid, and then the next lines will be fire. I guess.
Sure.
I
So,
mean, the last time that I wrote a shit verse, I mean, probably really drunk. It moves his second place on 13th. Um, and just trying to make the homies laugh.
But I bet you, Boom, I bet you it wasn't a bad verse. I bet you were just not laying it down with a candor because you were 22 years old,
Yeah.
hammered
Yeah.
in Moose's house. You know what I'm saying? So,
word. Um, how about this? Is there a way to make a living off of music living in Canada without grants?
I
Licensing.
like the without grants thing. I
Yeah,
like
no,
it.
you gotta have the without grants. Because
Licensing. Licensing helps. Try to get on shows.
Yeah.
Submit. Submit to things. But also like, no. Um, throw your own shows if you want. I mean, there's no real money in anything because no one really wants to do anything,
Yeah.
and no one has any money left over after the corporations take it all. I mean, I don't think it's about money anymore, to be honest. I mean, everything is branding, right? So, consider yourself a brand and sell more things than music.
Mhm.
Uh, have the music just be an advertising vehicle for whatever your brand is.
That's right, man. I think like if you want to be, if you, and for me, I hate that too, man. Because if you want to do what you love, you have to do things you don't really love. And I'm not a big, yin and the yang, right? Like I'm not. I hate self promotion. I don't want to make. I'm not good at making merch. I'm not good at doing that. But to be able to get to that point where yeah, we are surviving full time off music, that has to be in full form. Like, and it has to be ready before you get to a point where you need that stuff too. Like
Yeah, I
that's
got to give it to Han Solo. Like he's trying, man. Like
yeah, he kills it.
yeah, but also I'm just like, sometimes I just want to step in and be his financial advisor. Like, are you sure this is good enough? Are you sure? Are you sure you want to press this album, bro? Like, I don't know.
I saw
But
you actually kind of making fun of like, oh, I guess I could put this new CD in my PS5 or whatever, right? And I've
yeah,
talked to a lot of different artists about how important physical merch is or isn't, especially like the actual music element of physical merch. I think everybody agrees you got to have a t-shirt. There's something to sell at the merch table, but yeah, do you think that there is a space for people who are still trying to buy CDs, or like
yeah, of
should it just
Yeah,
be
course,
a
man, for
t-shirt
sure.
instead?
More so
for sure.
than the last 15 years, for
For
sure.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It's
Like
definitely making a comeback, and audiophiles are definitely coming back for sure.
yeah, 100%, man. It's the physical, collector's view of it, right? So definitely there's a space for it, man, for sure.
Right. How about when you guys are writing? Do you typically sit and write like an entire verse or an entire song at the same time, or are you kind of constantly chipping away in a note app on your phone as you go about your business over the course of days or weeks or whatever?
Both.
Sure.
Both,
Both, yeah.
yeah. I mean, yeah, sometimes I'll just have lines and I'll basically just like take a beat, and if it like sparks something, I'll start. And then if I get stuck for a second, I'll just look, and I've got punchlines all over my shit. Definitely lots that didn't even use, and things that were just half ideas. Smoke a joint, get inspired, whatever. But yeah, both. Um, I've definitely written songs back to front. Like, if you take a song like Are You High, you take a song like It Ain't Me, like a lot of those are just punchlines, kind of just set together,
Right.
you know, thought of in different times. Um, but punchlines that are even more complicated are written in succession. I mean, I don't expect you to get it. It's called that for a reason. Some of those lines are just insane. Like no one is ever going to get it. I mean, I can explain something to you, uh, and I have this part just separated, which is just like I say, I'm too wonderful. My D on your girl's mind, and Dion is Dion Sanders. He was number 21, so I'm too wonderful. My D on your girl's mind. I drop 8, crush a 2-4, and make the girls cry. Drop 8. Kobe used to be number 8 for, and
Right.
then he became number 24. So I drop 8, which is 8,000. Crush a 2-4 and make the girls cry. He made a girl cry because he was like aggressive with her. And then I go, how good can this psycho be? Because I say Kobe. I'm like world peace, which is meta world peace. And I go, this can't be happening. Your pal is too low key. And world peace, meta world peace. He got into an altercation in the Pacers game. In the I forget what it's called, the Palace or something like. There was a Malice at the Palace is what the event is called, where he like punched a fan. So I say
Right.
like,
Yeah, I remember that happening. Yeah.
yeah, I'm like world peace. This can't be happening. Your palace too low key. And then I go bury 20 in 4 fields, 24 in share bonds. So bury, I'm talking about bodies,
Right.
but Barry 20, that's Barry Sanders. So Barry 20 in 4 fields. 4 field is where Barry Sanders used to play in Detroit. 24 in share bonds. Um,
Also
that's a
Barry Bonds reference in there,
that's,
right?
that's Barry Bonds. That's the number he wore. And then that's 44 mil for the path I put my air on, and that's Hank Aaron. So 44 is what he wore. 44 mil for the path I put my air on. Keep my enemies close like no ho Hank. And then I say like Barry from Gary, I make slow mo bank. So it's the next Barry. I don't know why I'm talking about Barry so much. But I guess because I'm burying bodies. But like Barry from Gary, that's Barry Gordy from Gary, Indiana, who was the
Okay.
original manager for the Jackson Five, and is
Oh,
still making money off of it.
damn, man. Levels to it. We just found Kendrick's Ghostwriter right here or something.
But like
And my, s-
no one's ever gonna get it.
and
No.
my stuff's like, hey yo, these rappers are whack.
Well, yeah, straight to the point. A little
Get
more easy to
get deep
understand, but
on, man.
I
uh,
blame the strains though, man. I just, I get on a fucking tangent with the weeds and then it's gone, you know.
hey, man, that's dope. I mean, and shit, whether people actually get every last one of those references or not, people will get some of them. And, you know, uh,
I
I
mean,
didn't
you
know
would
who
know
the,
what Ghostface was talking about for years, like, whatever.
Boomers
I
like
mean,
the
I've
Twin
seen interviews.
Peaks of
Ghostface
rap.
didn't know what Ghostface was talking about. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's up for interpretation, I think. Um, what else did I want to ask you guys about? Oh, hey, is Western Canada being slept on in the national scene?
Doesn't matter.
Fair.
Maybe, but I don't. Whatever.
I mean, yeah, it's like, are we being slept on? I don't know. You know what? I think that we just don't have middlemen here. We just have like artists, failed artists that are too jaded. Everyone works on fear. Nobody works on opportunity. People in Toronto are a little bit more connected, and they have a bunch of people that are like, oh, I can exploit this guy for 50% of his profits. So I'm going to work extra hard and try to get him signed or whatever. But here,
Mhm.
we just don't even have ambition as far as it being a lucrative business. And it was never like that. There was only a couple of people, and they didn't want to touch hip hop with a 10 foot pole. Nobody wants to. It's still rock music out here. It's hilarious.
It's still things. Yes, it's funny, man. We were having this conversation in Calgary about like, back in the early 2000s, we'd throw these shows of just like underground artists, AWOL One, like stuff like that, shapeshifter stuff, like cats coming out of West Coast, Doom Tree, like the atmosphere kind of the rhyme series, smaller groups or whatever. People would show up, man. People would
Yeah.
show up, and and something happened over the mid 2000, like the 2010s, where things just kind of stopped happening. And I think the guys maybe who were promoting the shows got tired and were done doing it, kind of thing. But nobody stepped up to be that in between. So you'll get like these big shows out to Calgary or Vancouver, and the guy promoting it will say, "Oh well, if you sell 60 tickets, man, you can open."
Yeah.
And then also these other 15 guys, if they sell 60 tickets, you could open. I had a guy offer me a spot to open. He's like, "Yeah, man, all you got to do is sell 20 tickets." And I'm like, "Bro, what time is the main headline going on?" He goes, 10 o'clock. I'm like, "What time do the opening artists go on?" He goes, "No later. You guys are done no later than 8:30." I'm like, "Why do you
Oof.
think you're a promoter? You're not. You're
Yeah.
scamming people to bring their friends to auto sell tickets." And he said, "Oh, this is normal. This is what's in the game." I'm like, "Well, change the game, bro, because the game ain't right. You don't that back in the day, cats would just be like, and I don't want to be the back in the day guy, but promoters would be like, "Yo, this guy suits this group coming. We got to put him before him because he's a local artist who can get probably some good fans off this artist who is very similar to this vibe, the sound, how they portray their stuff." But that shit just doesn't happen anymore,
Promoters would have to take the time to actually listen to the artist that they're booking
man.
if
And
that was the
promote,
case, right?
bro, and go
Yeah.
out and promote. Like
Yeah.
walk around with some posters and hire some people to go and talk to people about the show and get people hyped about it. Like that's literally what disappeared with the cell phone, is that
That's why they changed
conversation
that
can be
role.
done.
They changed that role to talent buyer. That's what it's called now.
Yeah, yeah, which is a
Okay.
bad role.
Talent buyer, so that nobody even expects him to promote. All he's supposed to do is buy the talent. I mean,
Yeah,
it's right there
yeah,
in the name. Oh fuck.
talent
Um
has
speaking of
no talent
names,
themselves, right? So they got to buy it.
that's exactly it. Uh John, how did you come up with Kaboom Atomic? What made you want to use Kaboom Atomic as your moniker? And well, no, here I'll let you answer that one first.
Yeah, it's an onomatopoeia. I had learned what that was. I think it was in grade 8, 7 maybe. No, grade 8. I learned what that word meant. And like I was obsessed with cartoons and comics and stuff. And Kaboom was like this big explosion. And I wanted to be Kaboom. And then, yeah, as time went on, I realized that I needed to kind of change my name or just like develop it a little bit because there was already a couple Kabooms. There's a really good gun rapper in New Jersey named Kaboom. Really
Okay.
sick. Battle
You had
guy.
to differentiate.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think I have more plays than him, but still, I think yeah, I mean, he's dope. He's sick. And he can have it. But I mean, at the end of the day, like it's not original. So Kaboom Atomic just kind of came out. I guess it was also just kind of leaning into the fact that like as an actor, I'm always just like playing terrorists and shit. So it's like I'm the terrorist hacking the fucking nuclear warheads or whatever.
What was that old joint? I am the terrorist,
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 terrorist.
terrorist. Terrois.
You guys
What
did a
was that?
good job of
Motion Man?
syncing
That
up
was
on a
Motion
Zoom chat.
Man. That was Motion Man. That shit was sick, dude.
That was sick. He was
Um,
dope.
I don't know that track. Who's that? Who are you guys referencing right now?
Motion Man. He was like in the 90s, man. I think he might still be around, but I don't know what's happened to him. But he did this track called I Am the Terrorist. And
Okay,
that's how it went.
Canadian guy though. Actually,
Is
you're
he?
talking about. Oh, I
No,
don't know. Oh,
Oh, I
okay,
don't think
no,
so.
no, 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 no,
okay,
no.
okay. So I wanted a hot take from you here. I wanted to ask you, John specifically, but weigh in if you want too dirty. Will we see an atomic weapon go off in our lifetime? I feel like you sound like you pay some attention to world politics. You already mentioned the French sub popping up. And if we did, would you change your name? Or
Man, I really hope not.
me too.
But Yeah. The thing is like it's irrelevant. It's funny because all these this alpha male movement and all this it's all just small man syndrome, small penis shit, you know. So all these guys, they think they have balls, but they don't have balls, and I think China's got a lot of balls. I think there's some actual, real fucking dangerous people that are in leadership situations, and I think that there's some that are not, and they pretend that they are, and then there's some like we're kind of working for the mafia here. And I, do you think that Trump could even say the words nuclear codes? I don't even think he knows. I don't even
And
think he knows anything.
his intelligence, I can't put a finger on him, dude. I can't tell whether he's actually smart like a fox and just playing people by acting dumb, or if he's actually as dumb as he looks, or if there's some sort of puppet mastering him, or like what the fuck, honestly, man. It's
I
just
don't
chaos.
know. If you ask him, he's the smartest man.
If you ask his, teachers and stuff who fucking taught him, they all say he's one of the dumbest motherfuckers they ever met. So
He's just
I
getting
don't know.
bullied by
Yeah.
Daddy Trump.
I think he's smart, like promotionally or something. He knows how to fucking, get those headlines. I don't know. He knows how to
Has his dad's
take all the
he's
attention.
another silver spoon fed fucking rich kid who's trying to like I don't know, just because he sounds like a New Yorker, he's gotta like pretend like he fucking knows something about poor people. He doesn't fucking know shit.
Yeah.
He was the guy sitting in the corner that everybody fucking, even all the rich kids, they made fun of him, and now he's getting his fucking revenge.
Ding, ding, ding. I like that. Yep. Um. Hmm. How about I mean, what is it that keeps you making music? You said you're kind of in old man yells at clouds mode, and personally, I'm here for it. I think there should be more of that out there. But you kind of said, I don't know why I'm doing this or whatever. Like, what's the motivator?
I mean, for me, it's just I mean, I do so many different things. I mean, I'm writing a book. I've written two pilots this year. I'm going to be writing five more by the end of the year. And I have another album coming out, different genre of music. And like, Dirty works on things all the time. We have our time for art. I basically just have like time allotted for art, and whatever speaks, speaks. So I'll never stop.
Fair enough.
I think, man, like it's what I do, dude. It's what I do, and if I don't, I'm not me. So it's what I do. And it's like people are always, oh, you'll hear it if you're a young musician. You'll hear it your whole life. Well, you'll say, oh, I make music, and they'll say, well, does it pay?
It's
And
always everybody's first question, right?
yeah, it's always the thing. How much do you make off music? How much do you make off streaming? What do they pay you to? It's always like that. But the truth is, man, is if you are connected to art the way that some people are, the way that, like Sean's brain works at a million times faster than mine, you know what I mean? And he's multifaceted. He expresses art not just through like writing and visual stuff, but acting, man, which is like becoming, which is a mental, but to me, it's a mental strengthening thing. You're becoming someone else and bringing it back. Like it's very hard to do, man. It's really hard to do. But he also knows that if he doesn't do that, if he doesn't have that output, and you know this too, even by this being a band-aid between times where you're making music, is just having conversations like this, is
Yeah.
that art is something that you have to create. And it's not it's not like because of an ego, because of this. It's because of you are a channel for the universe. The universe has given you this power to do this. It's why you're here. It's the reason why the best sports athletes are, there's a difference between Tom Wilson and Connor McDavid. And it ain't just hard work. It's the kid's born to be Connor McDavid. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
Yeah.
when you're born to be um, a musician, when you're born to be whatever you are, and your passion for that is always continually going, if it's not around, you're not you. You're just not who you are as a human. So, uh, that's like, there, dude. I was even thinking about it the other day. I was like, my birthday's coming up this week, and I'm turning 44. You know, and I'm thinking, man, in 20 more years, I'm gonna be 64. 64, you guys, that's crazy. And I'm gonna be sitting at in front of an MPC making beats.
Fuck
And
yeah, man.
there's no other question. There's no. It just depends where I'm gonna be doing it. It's like I'll always be doing that. And believe me, 2 Cents will have another album in that era as well. You know, if I make it that far, I don't know. Sean will probably, he's in better shape than me, but
Yeah,
Beautiful, man.
we'll be at a fucking Legion, and they'll be like, everyone put their hands together for
yeah,
Courtney. She did a great little ditty on the accordion.
yeah.
Next we have Dirty. He's gonna come up here and he's gonna make a beat.
I like
I
it.
hope we're all there to see it in 20 years, guys. I hope we're there
Right?
to talk about the new album in 20 years. I hope it's still coming or whatever, you know.
Yeah, man.
Uh, yeah. And I feel you very much, 30, that anything else feels like drowning, honestly, man. That's how I fucking describe it, is if I'm
Yeah,
not able to access and make art and be around art and promote art and just be obsessed with art, uh it feels like my soul's getting crushed in a vice, like it's
for sure,
just
man.
no fun, you know.
You have any more
um
questions for Dirty? I gotta take 1 second.
yeah, I can ask Dirty some more questions here for sure. How about this, dude? What's the most annoying thing about working in the music industry? Got it typed out as most annoying of being a rapper, but what's the
I
most
would just
annoying thing?
just the back end stuff, bro. Like for me, like I said, I don't like writing up stuff about. Like I've been applying for some grants, and I've been applying for some music festivals for next year and stuff. And I detest doing that stuff. It's just, and it's not that, like, I know it's part of it. I've actually tried to lean into it and be like, hey, this can be a fun experience, like kind of thing. But that's the hardest part to me, is like I would love if, I got to a point where I could just sit in my lab and make beats and just send them off, and everything else kind of get handled at that point. But that's just part of, like we said, if you want to get to that level, you got to do other things, especially nowadays. It's not the world before social media, it's the world after social media. It's a whole other thing, man. And we're that age group that falls in that in between, where we grew up without cell phones and then we got them.
Right.
We're born
Yeah,
with them.
man. I drove pizza for 2 years before there was like, you know, directions on your phone telling you how to
Yeah,
get
yeah,
everywhere.
yeah.
So I can just like take an
Yeah,
address and figure it out on the grid system and drive
yeah,
to it, you
man.
know?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Me and
uh,
Wodewski drove to Cincinnati from Calgary before cell phones.
yeah,
Like with maps, like
right.
actual maps. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I had a paper map when I first moved up to Edmonton and was driving pizza up
nice,
there, man. Yeah.
nice.
Um, I think last time I talked to you, dude, since I mean, you mentioned publicly the business you run, right? We can talk about
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So last time I talked to you, we talked a little bit about you running a weed store, and uh I think I asked you, like, you know, what are you smoking? Like what's your favorite strain? What's do you prefer indica or sativa? Let's start there.
That to me doesn't really matter, man. It's more about the flower, the quality of flower and the terpenes in the flower. I find like everything's a hybrid. Everything's a
Right.
hybrid, man. It's sativa and indicas come from landrace strains, and landrace strains just aren't around anymore unless you're
Yeah.
stumbling through the Congo and you stumble into a plant of weed that's grown there naturally for 1,000 years. But for
All right.
me, man, it's about quality, bro. Like I smoke good weed, it's got to burn clean. It's got to taste
White
right.
ash. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's got to taste right. It's got to have high cannabinoids, high terpenes, so it's nice and greasy. Just quality weed is
Let
quality.
me ask you this. Do you think it got better or worse in general with legalization as far as quality of the weed we're smoking? Or that the
Uh,
average person's smoking, I guess.
so I would say for the public, it got worse. Um, for people who like for random people. So if you're just a guy who just smokes weed and once in a while smokes a couple joints, you don't really you're not on that level of like what I'm saying for smoking. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
no, exactly. It's gonna do what it's gonna do for you if you don't have any tolerance at all. But for guys
totally,
who
yeah.
smoke every day,
It is a difference, and the problem is that big companies that do massive grows, they essentially rush the weed out. So they don't cure it properly, they don't flush it properly. So companies like Tweed, Pure Sun Farms, these are companies that have paid smaller shops to sell their weed for them. So it's pushed upon the people, and people don't know the difference between irradiated and cured, like properly weed. And they're convinced that this is the stuff, and it isn't. It's garbage. It doesn't. The
right.
terpenes aren't there. The cannabinoids. It doesn't last long. Uh, High THC numbers, man. Don't listen to high THC numbers. It doesn't mean anything. You don't buy a 6% beer over a 5% beer. That's stupid.
Yeah.
THC numbers in can. I smoke a 19% plant that wrecks me. I smoke a 32% plant that does nothing. So
I was just saying the other day that same thing actually, man, that I'm smoking something right now that I think was like 22% on the bag, something along
yeah,
those lines. I think it was like Weekend brand or something, but
yeah,
Buddy told
that's
me that it's
Sitka.
owned by some nicer, yeah, Sidka,
Yeah,
that's the better
yeah.
grower.
Sitka's a small grow out of BC. They have 6 different rooms. There's a grower per room. They grow quality cannabis, man. But when you get into like the big grows, it just dies, bro. Yeah.
Yeah.
But low THC, man, it'll wreck you, right? Because it's quality.
Yeah, that was what I was saying. I don't know if it's all just made up, the THC numbers or what, but I don't know.
They test one little bud out of an entire crop.
That makes
So,
sense.
yeah.
So does the grower get to choose which one's tested, or
Yeah.
do you know? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the grower
Yeah.
gets to choose the most fucking crystalled up bud and
Of
give it to the
course.
people
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
test. Eh? Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
sense.
Yeah.
Um, Sean, I've seen you hitting a vape pen. What have you been smoking lately, bro?
Like weed.
Yeah, that's what we
Um,
were just talking.
I'm
I
a
decided
sativa
I'd ask him.
guy. I'm a sativa guy. I don't know. I like to be sharp, I guess. Um, or chaotic. Anxious. I mean, plant. I don't know. You can attest. You can attest.
Yeah.
You understand my thing. Like I
Sean
used
needs a good blue dream or a
totally.
good like something nice kind of orangey on like a super lemon haze or a
Oh, I
wild
Totally.
love the super
dream.
hazes, man. Yeah,
That's
super
that's
lemon
a good
haze,
mood strain. Yeah.
Jack
Yeah.
Herrer, stuff like that.
And
That's yeah,
Yeah, Jack Herrera, man, because nowadays the strains are tough to find anything that's good as what we used to get. But
yeah,
so it's evolved so much, But
that
there's some
organic
blue
blue
dreams.
dream, I always go back to it.
Yeah,
Like you smoke the same strain all the time, but I always go back to that blue dream after I've went away from.
1964 is a company from Vancouver Island. They grow the best blue dream on the market right now, hands down.
Fuck yeah.
okay, nice. I'll have to look for it.
Yeah.
Blue Jack.
How about any predictions for hip hop coming up? You guys, what's next in hip hop?
Um. Okay. Well, I think because of the current state of the world, we're gonna get a lot of um. Uh. I think we're gonna get a lot of opinionated rap. I think that rap is okay. Since Kendrick Lamar, who did an amazing Super Bowl halftime show that got slander for I don't know being black, I guess.
Bigots,
Um,
yeah,
I think that we're gonna ease back into the world that we belong in, which is hip hop is political. It is intelligent. It always has been. And that's the world that we're gonna get back into. This bubblegum stuff will all I think it's gonna separate. It's gonna
yeah,
separate oil and water. Like it's like Dochi. Like what is that? Is that pop or is that intelligent? Is that Lauren Hill or is that Nicki Minaj? Or is it both? Or is it neither?
I
At
mean,
the end
from what
of
I've
the day,
heard, it feels closer to Lauren. Feels like she's got some stuff to say sometimes, but
100%, but to the
uh,
untrained ear, it's all the same.
right.
So, like, I think that we're gonna go back into the world where you have to dig to find what you want, and that's where I shine. That's the
I
world that I remember.
I think hip hop needs to do what like punk rock did, where there's a clear kind of breaking point and delineation where it became pop punk, and that over there is pop punk, and there's still all sorts of pop punk music that comes out, but there's also music that you can hear and be like, okay, this is still like punk rock that's true to the punk rock roots a little bit more, right?
Yeah,
Um, and I think hip hop needs to do something like that, where it becomes hip hop, like POP pop music over on that side, and
yeah,
then
yeah. Kind
something
of
closer
is,
to the roots
man.
this side.
Kind
Yeah,
of is at this point, But again, rap's rap, dude. Like,
Yeah.
there are good rappers, there's bad rappers, there's lazy rappers, there's rappers who just got good flow.
yeah,
There's like not the craziest MC, but he's got like a Project Pat, or like and then you get like a crazy MC that can flip metaphors or similes, like Kendrick. Like, I think it's just what the vibe is for each artist. And rap will always evolve. Music does this. It happened to EDM. It happened to, rock and roll. I mean, when rock first started happening, what was it? It was just, like evolved bluegrass, right? And
blues,
then
and yeah,
and then all of a sudden it turns into something else. And before you know it, we've got Three Doors Down, and we also have Nirvana. Like, so, and it's all under the rock banner, but it sure as hell ain't the same music.
No, exactly. Yeah.
And I think that's what rap is too, where rap is rap, man, but hip hop is the culture, rap is the music, and the music will always evolve, but the culture is still hip hop, dude. The culture's still like b-boys, graffiti artists, like it's still those elements of hip hop, right? The producers, the DJs, the rappers, like these are still huge parts of hip hop, and you see that in some of the young kids now too, man. You see these groups like that. What was that, Contra, Coast Contra, or
post
whatever,
Contra, yeah,
and they're like new age stuff, but their stuff's on point, man. Earth Gang, same type of thing. That JID kid, like, was it
right,
JID? Whatever's
Yeah.
that, like those,
yeah, JID, yeah,
which I'm sure he's
dope,
not a kid anymore. Like, I think I first heard of that guy like 15 years ago.
Yeah, yeah, that's a full-on adult.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah. But like these are evolution, but still with that essence of, like, when I first heard Earth Gang, I'm like, what did Outkast take a bunch of kids and put them under their wing
right.
and start showing them what to do? Because these guys remind me of Outkast like
Well,
crazy.
post Contra, that's like one of them's Razkaz's kid, or maybe two of them are, or something. But yeah, yeah.
That makes
So
sense, dude.
right, um,
Yeah, Razcast, one of the greatest.
yeah, definitely, dude. Okay, so I always run people through just a segment called "How Important Is," and ask you just kind of rapid fire, how important is this or that? Um, how important is making music videos in 2025?
Oof. I
Right?
mean, I don't know. I think uh, any art you make has just got to be fun, man. It's just put some thought in it. You design time, design time. How important is it for what? For business or for like artistic creation? I
How
mean, I
important is it to you? Just
yeah, I think it's super important for me to blend the visual medium with sound.
Yeah.
Sounds to design things and I wish I could do it all the time. I wish I had like a camera crew ready. I mean, I shot that video with my iPhone, and both of them actually,
right.
um, with my iPhone. But like, I guess I could. I could do videos for everything. I'd say, yeah, 75 to 80%.
So be
Yeah.
ready in a month for 12 new videos from Kaboom Atomic
You heard
from
it
the
here
new
first.
album, Two
Uh,
Cents.
I'm fucking busy, man.
what do you think, Dirty? Are music videos important, or
Yeah, I
I
do, man.
mean,
I
yeah,
do, because you'll connect to music more if you have a visual aspect to it.
yeah,
Obviously, people connect to music through audio, but there's an ocean out there of stuff that's released every day. What happens in a month, right? And that as a guy who's trying to keep up to all
For
this
sure.
stuff. But a visual, I think it's always a good thing, man. But I also think, we've discussed this a lot also with the Mo Gravy crew and stuff. Is that it's got to have a standard. Like even the video shot for this, he did it by himself. He did it simply, but it has a look, it has a feel. It's the brand of what we are. It's the brand of what he is. These are really important things to portray when you're putting out music and stuff. But I do think it's really important, especially nowadays.
I always say there's no right answer for a lot of these questions I ask here, these how important ones, but I would tend to agree with you both on that one. I think just getting a face to the music helps a lot with people knowing who you are and remembering you, I guess. Um, how about how important is getting your streaming numbers up?
Like on like Spotify
Spotify,
and shit like that.
wherever YouTube plays or whatever you want, any of those numbers, any
Apparently,
metric.
apparently pretty important because the more that you're heard in the first like week, the more they keep putting you in the algorithm and on playlists and stuff, and that allows you to do shows.
Yeah,
I wish it wasn't important, but it's pretty important to put some emphasis behind advertising and just it's so much more beyond the music, and I know it sucks, but you can't just record an album and just put it out anymore.
No, it's part of the game to do all the stuff with it. Yeah. And like Sean said too, man, is like it's important to get your numbers up, but getting placed on those playlists is what is will get you those numbers up. And it's hard to get on those playlists without having your numbers up. So how do you have to do it's a conundrum, right? So
yeah.
you go and you do your rounds of promotion that
Yeah,
you
the algorithm really helps. It's just like, I don't know, they didn't teach you coding in music school. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
or
They
the
didn't teach you
80s.
media manipulation or whatever
Yeah,
in
they
music
didn't
school.
teach
Yeah.
us that in the 80s either. Shit.
yeah, exactly.
I mean, and like we were saying though earlier, like with promoters or whatever, not even taking the time to actually listen to the artist that they're booking a lot of the time, it seems like
Yeah,
anyways. They're looking at your
crazy.
streaming numbers and that's about it, right?
It's
They're like, oh
crazy.
well, how popular is he?
Yeah.
So definitely helps with getting shows. This is a first that I've been asking this one. A lot of these questions, like I asked to all sorts, everybody I interview or whatever, but this is a new one. How important is winning the industry awards? Like every different city has the like Calgary Music Awards or the Alberta fucking Music Awards or the Western Canada Music Awards or all the way up to the Junos or whatever. But how important is winning industry awards?
So I'll answer this and depends what you're putting them on your resume for. So if you're applying for a grant, it's awesome to have those awards.
Right.
It's a really positive thing to show them that you're taken seriously, you're a serious artist, blah blah blah. So yeah, but in the aspect of anything, like, dude, who gives a shit what a board of people think about? Like, I do not care, man. I'd rather connect with. I'd rather have someone from across the world reach out and be like, "Yo, man, this song meant the world to me." Like, that's that's a stronger feeling, and we don't even do it for that reason. So we're definitely not doing it for it. With that being said, I will say, man, going back to that thing where people go, "Oh, you're in music. Well, how much money do you make?" You know what I mean? This is one of those things where if you did have an award, you could literally, because dude, I mean, there's massive professional artists. You know what I mean? There's massive professional
Right there, I
artists.
got my award on the wall behind me because when I
Nice,
tell people I
nice.
do a radio show, everybody looks at you like you're a fucking bum.
Yeah, you do what? And
Then I'm
it's
like,
like,
no, really,
yo,
it was the best in Canada one year. Yeah, I
right?
swear.
Yeah, and that's the
You
thing
guys
is
are in
that
low
there's a
competition cities, though.
yeah. Like I'm not lying, man. I just applied for YYC Music Awards, so I just
Yeah,
applied for last year for one of the albums.
That's
And Sean,
great.
I'll have you know, this is from the CCRA. That's a national award.
Oh,
The what is it?
congratulations.
College and Community
Did
Radio
you,
Award
Yeah.
or something along those lines.
you
So,
I mean,
Nice.
you know,
congratulations, but did you grease him with some oil money or what?
not at all. I didn't even know I was nominated. They fucking notified me I had won, and props to the
Nice.
station manager at CKXU. He fucking sent in the nomination or whatever.
That's
So,
great.
And then you had us on, and the show went downhill.
it's all been downhill. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
what do you think about the awards, though, Sean?
I'm gonna give it a big old 0 out of 10.
Fair.
I mean, okay. I whatever is going to like help you, use it, but like you can spin anything. Yeah, I think that the way that you write the grant and the way you present yourself and the adjudicator that you get, it means so much more than the actual accolades. But those aren't. I mean, to me, it's not even. I mean, I'm not undermining the awards. It's just whoever decides, these awards, who are they? Are they
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
peers? And like, do I really care about their opinion? Like, not really.
Like this
But
gatekeeper type shit. Like
yeah,
exactly, man. Exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
I saw somebody who said that they had worked on, Juno committees deciding who wins the Junos before, and they were saying that it comes down to about 50% stream numbers and then 50% what the jury thinks. Um,
mhm.
and that's fucked up to me, right? Like, if if we're gonna
Well,
give
maybe
awards
like
out, we
that.
should have people who can listen and critique and fucking compare it to the rest of the
Yeah, because the just
drops
because
that
the
year.
stream numbers aren't good doesn't mean the album's not good, right?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
I
Yeah.
mean, shit. People have been slept on before, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
It's not tastemakers anymore. It's gatekeepers, man. There's no
yeah, totally.
tastemaker.
I mean,
100%.
I mean, at the end of the day, like, uh, music is kind of it's kind of a hobby. If you like it, you like it. I mean, I didn't know what this album was gonna do, but it is kind of like taking us by surprise. Like, it was to have like 35,000 plays in 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's got hold on, I'll tell you right now.
It's doing pretty well.
Yeah,
I
And
it's
think you
got
had something like 3,500 monthly listeners on Spotify when I saw it. I didn't actually check the, numbers
yeah,
on new album or whatever, but
we got
you as an artist,
thirty-five
I think.
thousand three hundred and 11 plays on our album so far.
that's pretty good.
Sounds like a big
Yeah,
number to me, man. Yeah.
yeah, it sounds
Yeah,
good.
I mean, when it comes down to it, though, like, that does help that we got placement on Letterkenny playlists and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But I'm not undermining, and in fact, I'm putting emphasis on the fact that you know what Thomas Quinlan at Han Solo Records has done has been instrumental.
Yeah, huge.
He's kind of putting us through the ringer, of course, but he's also, providing opportunities for us to just kind of get the word out. I mean, he's why we're doing this interview. He's
He's not actually. He's not. He did send me the email asking whether or not I wanted to interview you guys. I had already set it up. So
well,
shouts to Thomas.
that sounds like a
Thomas does
chicken.
his job.
That sounds like a chicken egg kind of thing to me. Um, but yeah, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, like, it's just nice to kind of not have to do it yourself, or even just like someone who's doing like emailing anyone, and providing these opportunities. I mean, it is one thing to kind of. I mean, he's the one who put out the record. He's the one who was working on the record. If I just released it through my distributor, TuneCore or whatever the fuck, and it was just available on Spotify, who knows if anybody would have reached out.
Thomas is
So
the god, man. We love Thomas. Thomas does like if it wasn't for Thomas, I probably would have put out 4 albums in the last 20 years, you know.
big shouts to Thomas. He's actually one of the people in Twitch chat right now, and he
Nice.
returns the
Was he?
props. Yeah.
Is he roasting us right now or what?
Mm, he said a lot of the Juno categories are based on sales, but a few aren't. So he kind of corrected me on that one, I guess.
Oh, okay.
But no, he
He's
hasn't really
roasting
been
you.
roasted. He said Dubious was too fast when I said that I fucking had booked the interview already. But it's because I've already talked to the Dirty Sample several times for Flying Formation, and I
Yeah.
mean I'm paying attention when your guys' music drops, so I've been playing it on ATSIC for, like I was saying, I think the first singles were out a year and a half ago or something. So I've been
Yeah.
waiting for the album or whatever.
Oh, much
Keep up.
appreciated, man. Thanks.
Hell yeah, man. But of course, big shouts to Thomas as well. He's one of the biggest suppliers of music to my email inbox. I always appreciate it when artists send music over for me, or when their labels do, or whatever else. But yeah, I think he helps a lot of people out. How important is album art?
Oh, super important that you don't use AI. It's
Yeah,
funny. I tried this when AI first came out. I was like trying to like fuck with it and like come up with some things and try to make it artistic. And right away, Dirty was just like, "Yo, man, we should get an artist to do this. Like, fuck all this AI bullshit." And he was totally right. And I mean, the art on our album is all original, paper cut art style done by Ariel Hitchcock. Really, really sick. Good vibes, and the communication between her and Thomas was really good. Just to kind of figure out the layout for the cassette and the CD and stuff, and just like the singles
was
and
that a link up that Thomas helped you guys make, or is that somebody
no,
an artist you
that's
guys
my
know?
link up. That's my link
Okay,
up.
nice,
Yep.
nice.
Um.
Vancouver-based artist then?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Graphic designer.
okay. Yeah, I actually, one of the last things that I did. I mean, I've got a ton of music in the vault or whatever, but I have a bunch of single art that I was paying different graffiti artists across Canada to just, you know,
Oh,
send over some single art for me. I don't know if it'll ever see the light of day, but I've got some dope art up in my bathroom now. So one way or
sick,
the other.
Oh,
sick.
Um,
great.
yeah, man. Um, all right. I want to ask you guys one more of these how important questions, and then I'll let you out of here. Um, how important is it that how important is it that the listeners understand your lyrics?
Well, I guess I got to take this one. Um. I mean, not really. There's a certain type of listener who's going to make it their goal to understand what's happening, and that's the type of listener that I am. And there's a certain type of listener that just wants the vibe and just wants to be high
Yeah,
and talk over the entire track but still enjoy it. And no listener is better than the other. I mean, as long as you nail that vibe, and you have the lyrics, that's what it's all about. You have to kind of satisfy both.
right,
I mean, but you got to nail that vibe. That vibe that's the scrutinizing lyrics is a bonus. It's a bonus. It takes a special listener to like actually get in there, but you have to kind of make sure that the song is vibey first.
yeah, but it's still accessible to people who aren't necessarily picking apart the three layers of your sports number references or whatever else, right? Yeah. Um, how important is it to you, Dirty, when you write lyrics?
Man, I just hope people do. Like, I don't.
Fuck yeah.
I just hope they do. If you say something clever, to the sense where Boomer says all this, crazy level shit, you just hope someone gets it. That's my biggest hope, man. That's my
Yeah,
biggest hope. Man.
yeah, that makes sense. You were just saying earlier how your lyrics are more kind of just to the point, on the nose or whatever. So I thought maybe, you know,
Yeah,
maybe
depending
you're
on.
trying to write them consciously so that everybody gets what the fuck you're saying every time.
Nah, he got metaphors. He's
Yeah, I
Yeah,
got
humble.
some, but it's. Yeah, I don't know, man. I just hope that some people would would dig in and just go, oh shit, hip hop lost a good person last year, and that was a guy named Trilemma, um, like the Spokane West Coast area, and that guy followed my career, man. Since this, like I think the only other person who has as many albums as mine as him as like So-So from Close Horse, because So-So kept everything that I ever sent him when I was younger and stuff. But you just hope that one person connects to it like that, you know. You hope that one person can go, man, that means something, you know, and that's if not, then you did it for you, you know, like
Yeah,
whatever. It's art. That's how it is, you know.
exactly.
I
Yeah,
feel like when the
100%.
greatest painters painted their masterpieces, they weren't thinking, ooh, I hope everyone looks at this and falls in love with it. They just painted what the universe was thrust out of them, you know. And that's kind of us.
Right.
Except when Michelangelo did the Sistine Chapel, he was like, "This has got to be perfect."
That's fair. Yeah, yeah. Or the church is gonna kill him.
Yeah, and
Thank God.
Right.
they
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, thank God.
Oh man, he didn't draw those naked little boys the way that the
That's
children wanted them to look, man. That's
quite the
that's
God, eh? You can spend your most of your adult life painting something for him, and he'll still be like, "Yeah, I don't know."
It's like, no,
Mm,
no, not the naked boys. They're angels.
No, more naked boys. More naked boys.
That's the quotable you can use for Insta.
Yeah,
there we
perfect.
go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's the clip right there.
The terrible
Uh,
Italian with the more naked voice on it. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. That's gonna go over
perfect,
great.
perfect. I
It's
love
gonna
it.
go
Yeah.
over great. Yeah.
Luigi
um,
Mangione.
Yeah.
free Luigi, man, free Luigi.
Hey, Luigi.
Okay, so before I let you guys out of here, I ask everybody just a couple of questions. Can you describe your local scene, local hip hop scene?
Uh Scattered. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair.
If it ain't meth, it's depression.
All right, came with a bar for us. There you go. All right.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, we got some talented people, but like they're forced to move, man. Like, you hit a ceiling here and then you got to go. And then, and you're not hitting the ceiling. Most of us are not hitting the ceiling. So you got jobs and you got to grind. You have to grind your fucking ass off
Yeah.
and there's no shows here. There's nothing, you know. When someone says that you're a rapper, like if you're just out and you're like, yo, I'm a rapper too, you immediately think like, oh, you're a drunk guy who just fucking freestyles.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
and
classic. That's the classic. That's like when rappers find out I'm a producer and they're like, "Oh, really? Ooh, let me rap this in your ear as loud as I can with spit. Yeah, this will go good over your beats, right, bro?"
and
That
then they
cliche
start
is so
Or,
real, man. Yeah.
uh,
and they start dropping n bombs.
oh yeah, and you're like,
Uh,
"All right, bro, all right."
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's rough. Like I'm not a kid. Like I'm 43. I'm living in the West End. Like and which sounds fancy. It's not. And like man, like I do a lot of things. Nobody even knows I rap. No one even knows I rap, and I don't even know people that rap. I mean, it's pretty
Right.
insane how it used to be a thing, but like everybody that I know, you know, there's no one that I can even depend on. Like to be like, yo, you want to do a cut? There's one person. There's one person that I know that raps. It's Billy Botox, who's amazing. But like everybody else, like even if they do rap, they're not. There's no scene. We're just like friends, and if we get together, we're not doing that. And I think the pandemic just kind of, I don't know, wiped people clean off the planet. They're like, I can't keep putting money into this. I can't keep doing this.
yeah.
It's either the scene or the city just crushed everybody.
I mean, you kind of said that like rappers out there either like hit a ceiling and stop, like you got to stop at a certain point. And I mean, you don't have to. You can just keep releasing the music, whatever. Just make art.
Yeah.
That's real too. Fuck it.
I'm the delusional outlier. That's the thing. It's like I'm the delusional outlier who's never gonna grow up, and like I don't care. I just I'll give myself the allowance to make art. I live a certain life that allows me to make art. I'll live in a basement for fucking ever, but I need to make art.
It's a beautiful thing, man. Yeah. How about some artists from your scene that other people should be up on that maybe they aren't up on? You just mentioned Billy
Billy
Botox, was it?
Botox,
That's a new name
Billy
to me. I'll look him up.
Botox.
Is
sick.
that a real person or what?
Yeah, Billy
Yeah, it's
Botox.
tight,
Yeah.
so tight.
Okay.
Yeah, no, he's sick. Very good. Definitely look him up. He's got a couple videos too, and just great songs. I mean, you can check him out on all the platforms. And he does shows and stuff like that too, which is great. There are rappers here that are really good. I mean, obviously Rosmo and Kid Lithium are incredible. And there is a rap scene here, and I was just being a grumpy piece of shit. Um, because I'm not on it. Like these guys are younger, they're allowed and they're ready. Um, but we're all pretty jaded. This town beats us to shit. You know, there's less and less shows. There's less and less singles because the response just sucks. You know, we exhaust ourselves trying to do things that people tell us is the way, and then they're not. It's not the fucking way. And then there's these people that are like preying on us, and they're like, "Yo, man, give me $800 and I'll get you 50,000 plays." Or
Yeah.
I'll tell you all the things that you need to know to like make it in this market. And then when it doesn't work and you tried everything, they're like, oh yeah, well, you got to do this instead of that. And it's like, oh, and everything changed. And it's just, everyone is just out to basically make a buck off your fucking desperation, just like
Yep.
any other company.
Just trust your gut, man.
Even
Trust
during this
your gut.
conversation, somebody popped up in Twitch chat saying best viewers for cheap at whatever fucking website you should never click
Oh
on.
yeah, yeah.
The
Like, I
fuck,
don't give
get
a
the
fuck,
fuck
guys.
out of
If
your chat.
I don't care if there's 10 people in chat or if there's fucking 300. Really, we're sitting
Yeah,
here
yeah,
having the same
exactly, man.
conversation. Like,
Yeah.
it'll
I
be what
mean,
it'll
that's
be.
how I know. That's how I know. Like, our listens are genuine is because a Russian bot wants nothing to do with our music.
Yeah. Hell yeah. You got to look out for those Russian bots, man. I appreciate you mentioning the Russian bots a couple times this interview because I sometimes feel like I've got my tinfoil hat all the way on when I start jumping in comment sections, being like, yo, this is a Russian bot or whatever. Just like
Oh,
scrolling through, seeing like that's a Russian bot for sure.
dude,
These
I was
people
having
can't
sex
really
with this
exist.
girl last night, and I'm like, "Are you a Russian bot?" And she couldn't
Oh, man.
confirm or deny.
Well,
AI, it's a new
being bought
world.
from Russia is a different thing than being a Russian bot, though. So
Yo, that's a hot joke. That's a hot joke. Good job.
there you
Good job.
go. Yeah. Any other artists you want to give shows to? Dirty, you got anybody in the Calgary scene who people should be paying attention to?
Yeah, I mean, Cold Camp, baby. Was shout out to Cold Camp. I produce all the music for Cold Camp, so listen up. It's good stuff. Always touch in Edmonton. You know,
Hell yeah.
my homie Sergeant Comrade, of course. If you're going out west towards Boomer, then shout out to Azrael Rap's good. Shout out to Chatio. Uh, if you're going out east, shout out to my homie Fortunato that we put the album out with this year. Shout out to Han Solo. Uh, Shout out to Movesy. Shout out to all them cats. Like
The
to
Chi
me,
Chi
man, that
already got a shout
Canadian,
earlier. Yeah.
it's the Canadian hip hop's across the board, and with a few links in between, it will continue to do things and inspire young man. Like there are younger cats coming out with that same vibe and that same feel. Canadian hip hop is its own thing, and
Yeah, and props to the old cats that don't quit. Like, like
yeah,
Epic and Nolto and like,
yeah, man,
those cats
Yeah,
over there,
cats seeing them,
Ira
man.
Lee and my boy Gumshoe and it's funny because there's people that come through Vancouver and it's like they ask me if I can help them book a show and I'm just like
I know I get that one all the time too, and I'm like, oh man, I'm sorry, bro. Like,
I
I
don't
don't
know,
know
man.
anymore, man. I don't know.
It's
dude.
just like
I had people asking if I could book them here in Lethbridge or whatever, and like, oh, I could open for them. They were offering, and I was just at first I was with it, and then like I thought about it for 2 days and was just like, bro, I can't guarantee that I can bring anybody out in Lethbridge. I'm not gonna fucking lie. I didn't grow up
Yeah,
here. I'm a fucking recluse. I sit in my house or whatever. I'm not out making friends. I can't guarantee you I can bring anybody out. I can
Mhm.
tell you where to book, but you know, beyond that, it's uh, it's a lot to ask, definitely.
It's a
You know,
different game, man, for sure.
yeah, yeah. What's the best way for people to support you or other artists that they like?
Buy the album on Bandcamp.
Yeah.
Best
Buy
answer.
from
Yeah.
Han Solo.
Yep.
Buy the album from Thomas on HanSoloRecords.com.
And then last thing here, just anything to plan to plug, like any shows or tours or anything like that that we could tell people to look out for, and where can they find you on social media the most?
For me, man, I'm planning tours for winter and next year, so that's kind of my go-to. But you can always check me out at the Dirty Sample or at Cold Camp North.
Yeah, I mean, I'm at Kaboom Atomic on most platforms. Regretfully, I want off of all of them.
Too
So
bad,
like,
bro.
follow me, but then like, I don't know, or don't.
So,
I don't care. It's about music. You know, if you find it, you find it. At the end of the day, like, I don't know what I have planned, but I know that I'm doing things. Like, I got a book coming out later this year. It's called Pico. It's a sci-fi fantasy novel.
nice.
I've got so many different things on the go. I'm just trying to write my way out of a hole. Not that I'm in one, just that I live in one, I guess. And I'm just trying to do whatever like Dirty was saying earlier, just you know, the universe has ideas and I'm just a conduit. I'm just pushing shit out.
Yeah, yeah. Well, keep doing it, man. I'm here to listen to it. I appreciate the output. I appreciate you guys coming through to talk to me tonight, and it's always fun. I hope we can do it again. Like I said, I hope we're here in 20 years talking about you guys' new album.
Great, bro. Thanks for doing this, Dubious. Like hip hop needs cats like yourself. So
Somebody's
thanks
got
for
to, right?
the time, Dubious.
Yeah, keep
Yeah,
it up. Keep
yeah.
it up.
Hell,
And
hell yeah, guys.
hey, what
Appreciate
video game are you playing right now on your Twitch?
And I've been playing Overwatch a lot. Well, it's Overwatch 2 now, but it's pretty much the same as Overwatch.
I've never played it. I don't even know what it's all about.
It's like it's a first person shooter, but it plays more like a team sport almost. You got to really rely on the other four guys on your team or whatever to fill their role.
you. It would give
Any
you a
like
seizure,
13-year-old.
Sean.
What
No,
what?
it would give you a seizure if you tried to play that game.
Yeah, I
It's
think so too.
it's pretty quick, but what I like about it is that it doesn't feel like I'm training for World War III. When I start playing Call of Duty or whatever, I'm just like, this is a little bit too fucking close to the
Yeah,
reality of actually being out there doing this shit. In Overwatch, you're shooting fucking laser guns at cartoon characters or whatever, so it's
yeah.
you know.
I used to basically my friend used to play and then I would just grab the headset and I would just tell jokes the whole time.
Yeah,
Perfect.
I mean, honestly, talking shit in team chat is a lot of what I'm doing on there. And a lot of the time when I'm playing on stream, what I'm doing is listening to like the 7 hours worth of new indie rap that came out that week.
Nice, nice.
So it's just something to have on screen, really. But yeah, I'm making the picks for AtSick every week on there. So yeah, people
So
can come through, say hi if they want to. I'm always around in the afternoons. All right,
Love
guys,
that.
it's been fun. Thanks for doing this again. I'll catch you next time.
thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
Hell yeah, peace.
Hey, fellas.
All right, everybody. So make sure you go check out the new album 2 Cents. It's available hand solo. I think it's handsolorecords.bandcamp.com. Thomas, if you're still in chat, you could feel free to put a link in there or whatever. But when I get this over to YouTube, I'll try to get the link on screen here as I say this. And yeah, it's one of my favorite albums this year. I wasn't blowing smoke. I actually mean that. I think we need more people willing to kind of give those hot takes, and so I appreciated hearing it. And of course, the beats are dope all across it. Just well, very cohesive album, and kind of even just the programming, like sequence of the songs, makes a lot of sense. They flow into one another nicely. It was a great listen, and I'll keep playing more tracks from it as they are released. If people don't know, you can come through here. Twitch.tv/dubious is where these interviews happen. If you're watching this on YouTube or if you're listening to the audio on Mixcloud. But coming up, I talked to Edmonton-based MC Trips. He's from the Doom Squad, but he has a new solo album out, which is quite the change up for him. So I'm looking forward to talking to him on March 18th. I talked to Arlo Maverick. We're gonna chop it up about like the entire grant system and grant process. He really knows the ins and outs of that. So I talked to him March 25th. Talked to Calgary-based MC Half Cut on April 1st. I promise it's not an April Fool's joke. We're really gonna do it this time. I did have Half Cut booked, I don't know, earlier, I think in February, early February, but we had to reschedule. So I took a week off in February and now I'm talking to him April 1st. For real this time, talking to Toronto based MC Danio, who just did like a posse cut called Bars Men and Women. He dropped Bars Men last year, and I think there were 4 or 5 MCs on it. And then the remix for it, he did a remix contest, and that's out now. And I believe it has like him and 9 other MCs on it. Looking forward to talking to him. He also did a dope album last year. I think it's called Vigilante. Trying to remember off the top of my head. After that, I'm talking to Ezza from Niagara Falls, April 15th. He has an upcoming album that he claims is going to be one of the best things out of Canada for quite some time. I think there's something in the Niagara Falls water out there. Every MC I talked to, I've talked to Sazy and Dialect Sosa, who are both from Niagara as well. And those 3 guys have to fight it out for who's the best in Canada because everybody has claims to the belt out that way, it seems like. But looking forward to talking to Ezza. I like his music a lot. Talking to J.O., formerly J.O. Mares from Run and Gun, Mississauga based MC. That's coming up on April 22nd. And then April 29th, I'm talking to another Vancouver based MC. Who didn't get mentioned here tonight, but I feel like he's one of the young up and coming guys who is making dope shit. Hard Body Dreams is his name. We just booked that one today. He has a new EP called Supreme Order out, and he's definitely on the knowledge of self tip. Definitely has a lot of jewels in the bars. Looking forward to talking to him. So yeah, come through Tuesdays on Twitch and catch these things live. You can check out the full interviews on YouTube a couple days after they happen live. And of course, mixcloud.com/dubious is where you can find the hour-long mixes that I do every week of the actual music that all these guys make. For After the Smoke is Clear. Sometimes it's my homie DJ Dice does the mixes. Sometimes it's me being a fledgling DJ putting them together. But, what I do pride myself on is not so much my DJ skills, which are not very good at this point, but I make it work because I do it in slow mo, and take 4 hours putting together a 1 hour mix or whatever. So that's another thing that I do on Twitch. Come through on Twitch, hang out in the afternoons. I'm always on. Appreciate y'all, and I'll catch you next time.